I'm making a comic, and I have no clue how to do it. My name is Tim, and I've been a professional kids book illustrator for a couple of years now. And to be honest, I want to try something new. You do one thing for too long and you tend to get a little bit bored. That's just how life is. Comics have been such a big part of my life. I made a few as a kid, but now I want to try to do it as an adult and do it the right way. So a couple of years ago, I created a sci-fi superhero team called the Cosmic Casuals just for fun, but I never really did anything with them. Now the goal of this is to actually create a whole series. But for this specific project, I just want to start off small and make a short story. The word of advice from many comic book veterans is to start off small, just to see if you actually like doing it, and then you can use this as a learning experience to create that big, massive project that you've been dreaming of. So the first thing that I needed to learn how to do was to make a script. And one thing that you should know about me is that I hate writing. I've never been good at it. It ruins my day, and I'm not happy. My wife has even said that I turn into Gollum from Lord of the Rings the moment I start writing. So I Googled how to make a comic book script. I actually found a website that had many comic book scripts written by all these famous writers. And as I was looking through the site and like clicking around, I found out that all these writers had different styles of writing. So many different styles that I kind of got overwhelmed. So I just downloaded Jason Aaron's and Brian Michael Bendis' scripts. These are two well-known comic book writers, and I try to copy their styles. A few common things that I noticed when studying these scripts is that they use numbers to indicate the panel to the description and the dialogue. They also started a new page once the final panel was written for, and it seemed like they had every single little detail envisioned in their mind before they even started writing on the page. Trying to do this method exactly like them made things very difficult and a little frustrating for me. I had to envision everything before I wrote something down. And at this point of the process, all I had was just the little main plot and just a few lines of dialogue. So envisioning how the scene will look, plus trying to figure out story points, dialogue, page composition, and drawing composition, all while writing all of these details down, made this whole process just a little stressful for me. And I wasn't really having any more fun. So I took a break. I took a long break from writing the script, and I didn't come back to it until after I graduated school. So around this time, I started getting back into making my comic. I was listening to a bunch of art podcasts and videos, and it was here that I realized why the scripts were made with such detail and planning. It was because these writers were working with an artist, and the writer had to be that detailed just so that the artist could understand exactly what the writer had in mind. But from one of these videos or podcasts, I don't quite remember, the thing that I learned is that if you are the writer and the artist, it doesn't really quite matter how the script is written as long as you yourself understand what's happening. It was here that I decided to abandon the traditional format and just started writing however it made sense to me. This was the turning point of the process. I was actually having fun again. And as I was writing, I realized that the story doesn't have to be Elden Ring in order to be compelling. Engaging storytelling can happen with simple storylines. If you played games, you've probably played God of War 2018. And if you boil the plot down to its basic form, the plot is that Kratos and his son need to go to the highest peak in all the realms to spread his wife's ashes as her dying wish. That is a super simple storyline. You got point A and point B. Now, where it gets interesting is the conflict in between. And you have to ask yourself, how do the characters solve that conflict? How does that conflict affect them? And how does it affect them personally and with each other? The characters and the conflict is where that interest happens. Everything else seems to be secondary. All keeping this in mind, I soon finished the first draft. For the second draft, I just made some quick changes and simplified the story just a little bit more to be more concise. And for the third draft, I sent the script to a couple of friends of mine who were able to tell me some pointers on how to make the story a little bit more interesting and more clear. Finally, the hardest part is over with, or at least I think.